I want to take you back a little bit. I moved out to Arizona for law school in 2019, and I love it out here. And in the 6 years that I've lived out here, history is about to be made on Sunday if you're watching as of the date this video gets released. Because as a Jaguars fan, this Sunday marks the first ever time that I moved out here that the Jaguars are playing the Cardinals in Arizona. Based on the rotation, it only happens once every 8 years that the Jaguars come out to State Farm Stadium. The last time it happened, I was not living in Arizona at this point. I was a junior at a college in North Carolina watching the Jaguars play the Cardinals in my dorm room with Sunday Ticket. And thank God I was not out in Arizona at that point, because if I was, I would have been at the game, and I probably would have been banned from the stadium for life if I saw what the Jaguars proceeded to do. Here's the situation. It's 24-all, and the Jaguars, after forcing a 3-and-out, have the ball at their own 10-yard line. I should note that Jacksonville's offense had done nothing, and I truly mean nothing all day. Blake Bortles just threw an interception on the previous drive to stall everything. The Jaguars scored 7 points off of Calais Campbell's scoop and score, so it's really 17 points for the offense. And on their first 12 drives of the game, the Jaguars either punted or turned it over on 9 of them, with the Jaguars having more drives going for 0 or negative yardage than they had drives going 40 or more yards. The Jaguars can never seem to beat a backup quarterback, and with Blaine Gabbert on the other side, as in the former Jaguars first-round pick and one of the biggest busts in franchise history, even with the vaunted Saxonville defense, you somehow knew how this was going to play out. Still, the game was tied, and the Jags had the ball at the 10-yard line, with the Cardinals only having 1 timeout. At this point, if you're the Jaguars and you're this man right here, as in head coach Doug Marrone, you've got 2 options. Option 1, go for the win right here and now. Try pushing the ball down the field and don't take any chances sending the game into overtime. It's not likely by any means, but if you can get 50 yards on this drive, especially since you've got 2 timeouts to work with, you can set yourself up for a walk-off, game-winning field goal by Josh Lambo, who has been nothing but reliable since you acquired him after cutting Jason Myers. Option 2, play ultra-conservative football. Do absolutely nothing. If you can bust off a big run, then you can push it down the field, but you don't have to. The Cardinals don't have to get the ball back here. If the Cards had 2 or 3 timeouts, yeah, you push it down the field because Arizona can stop the clock and get it back. But with the Cardinals only having 1 timeout, if you run the ball 3 times, even if you get absolutely nothing, the Cardinals don't get it back and you play for overtime. Since that's just how math works. Seeing as you can kill 40 seconds off the play clock twice, and there are 74 seconds left. So on first down, the Jaguars give the ball to their 3rd-year man, former Alabama running back TJ Yeldon, and he picks up 2 yards. All right, they're playing the conservative strategy. Honestly, I don't hate it. I think that's the right call here, knowing how inaccurate and how bad Blake Bortles had been all game with anything that wasn't his legs. I think that's the right call here, knowing how you've struggled with turnovers all game. I think that's the right call, essentially daring Blaine Gabbert to drive down the field on you in overtime and get a touchdown. The clock is running, the Jaguars are playing for OT, and all seems to be good. My heart won't be able to take another period of football necessarily, but at the very least, you avoid the doomsday scenario. And then, Doug Marrone decides to do this.
To try and win it. 2nd and 8, Bortles look out. Incomplete. Marquise Lee, who's had his issues with drops this season.
You're throwing the ball. You decide to throw a pass and risk the possibility that the clock stops? You decided that now you're going to try pushing the ball down the field and you're going to try playing for the win with this little time left? Yeah, this definitely isn't going to backfire on you whatsoever.
3rd and 8. Here's Fournette breaking the initial tackle.
Shocker, you got stopped, and now you have to give the ball back to the Cardinals. This definitely, oh, who are we kidding? It's the freaking Jaguars. Of course this is going to end in disaster.
Justin Drescher is the snapper, Andy Lee the holder. This one is on target, and it is good.
Yep, still hurts all these years later. Don't care that we made the playoffs and this loss meant nothing. It still hurts. Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before we break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this could possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, Doug Marrone. Marrone deserves a ton of credit for the job he did in 2017 for obvious reasons. After a 3-13 season the year before, Marrone came in, going from interim head coach to full-time head coach, and got this team one win away from the Super Bowl. Heck, you can make the argument that this team should have been in the Super Bowl. Somehow, we were moments away from this man and this team playing in the Super Bowl for the first time ever. Alas, that did not happen. And aside from the atrocity that was the entire fourth quarter of coaching in the AFC Championship, and just forgetting that Corey Graham existed, this was, hands down, the biggest blunder of the season for the Jags. Because this was just inexcusable. It's one thing to lose to the Cardinals. It's another thing to lose to Blaine Gabbert. And it's another thing to lose because of something completely in your control that you just bungled. Because this coaching by Marrone was absolutely inept. So with that being said, let's take a look at why throwing the ball on second down when the other team has one timeout and there are roughly 40 seconds left and you're pinned deep in your own territory in a tie game is a really bad idea. Like I said earlier, Marrone had two options here. He could have gone conservative and just run the ball 3 times, and if you get a first down, thereby eliminating the possibility that the Cardinals can get it back, and also giving you a realistic possibility of getting the requisite yardage needed to try a field goal, then I would have had no problem with it. He could have gone aggressive and thrown the ball and tried to get those chunk plays, thereby playing for the regulation win and putting faith in his offense and not caring whether or not the Cardinals got it back. Do either one of those strategies, and whether it works or doesn't, and whether Bortles goes 3 and out, or whether you lose the game in overtime, I'm not making this video, and this becomes a non-story. But for some reason, you decided to create a third option, which is to be both conservative and aggressive. I don't get what the point is here. Even if the pass is complete, it's not as if it's a long pass that will get you the yardage you need to truly push the ball down the field. Nor is it a high percentage pass like a screen that usually does not fall incomplete. It's a short pass, and generally speaking, short passes go for short gains. So even if Marquise Lee catches this pass, which, by the way, he had super inconsistent hands and was probably the last guy you should have as a primary read in that spot, but even if Lee catches this pass, you're picking up maybe 5 yards. Barring a broken tackle or blown coverage of some kind, the most realistic scenario that you can hope for with a play like this is that it's third down and you're not just 3 yards shy of the sticks, but you're also a solid 40 yards away from a field goal with about 30 seconds left. There is no reward here. There is basically no reward. But the risk is monumental. Oh, that risk is monumental. You risk the possibility that the clock stops. And with the Cardinals having one timeout, it means that if you don't get the third down conversion, the Cardinals will have a shot to get the ball back with really good field position, seeing as you're punting inside your own 20-yard line. You risk the possibility that Blake Bortles turns the ball over, which normally I'd say you should trust your quarterback and not worry about that. But come on, it's Blake freaking Bortles. I'd be terrified. If you throw the ball, basically nothing good can happen. If the Cardinals had 2 timeouts, yeah, I'm fine throwing it because the Cardinals can get it back with a stop. If the Cardinals had no timeouts, I'm also fine throwing it and taking one chance. Because if you don't get it, you can always run the ball on third down and take it into overtime. I'd also say, if you were somewhere around the 30-yard line, I'm fine throwing it. Because even if you don't get it and the Cardinals get the stop and they get the ball back, the Cardinals are not going to have good field position to do anything in about 15 seconds. They'll probably just take a knee and go into overtime unless you completely shank the punt or do something stupid. But inside your own 15, with the opposing team having one timeout? No way. Absolutely not. This is the one spot on the field where it makes no sense to throw. And sure enough, Doug Marrone, this man right here, decided that this was the perfect time to let it rip. You have to commit all the way here. Doug Marrone entered this drive with no game plan, and you can't serve two masters. When you try to fulfill two completely different and contradicting objectives, you end up creating a giant mess that leads to nothing good happening. He started the drive saying to himself, all right, let's be conservative and just play for overtime. Then, with no changes to the fact pattern whatsoever, seeing as the first down run got 2 yards, he decided, all right, let's be aggressive and play for the win. At least if something material changed, like you got 15 yards on the first play, I get that. Good coaches adapt to the situation. But bad coaches adapt to the situation when the situation didn't even change. There is no material difference between 1st and 10 at the 10 and 2nd and 8 at the 12. Why Doug Marrone thought there was is beyond me. It's like if you're driving to work and you need to be at work by 9. You put the address in your GPS and it says you'll be there by 8:38. So you're driving the speed limit and obeying the laws of traffic. Then the GPS says that you'll be there by 8:39. So you decide to play crazy taxi and run every red light and go 50 over. Nothing material changed, so why did you? Why did you change your entire philosophy and strategy? What was it all for? And after the game, to his credit, Doug Marrone took the blame and admitted to everyone, yeah, I probably should have done that. As Marrone said afterwards, at the end of the game, I've got to do a better job. I ran the ball on first down and got greedy. I should have ran the ball and ran out the clock and went to overtime. That's my fault. If I had to do it all over again, looking at it, I would have just ran the clock out and went to overtime. That's my fault. But you know it's bad when even your own quarterback, Blake Bortles, had no idea what you were doing. Bortles himself said after the game, I got the call and went through the progression and tried to make a play. I have no idea what the thought process was. When your own quarterback is saying, I'm not sure what we were trying to do there, or what we were trying to accomplish, or why we did that, that's when you know you screwed up badly and you're a horrible communicator. When you make Blake Bortles the voice of reason, you know you screwed up badly. And safe to say, Doug Marrone screwed up badly. So what did we learn from all this? If you want to be aggressive, then be aggressive. If you want to be conservative, then be conservative. But don't be both. Don't try and do both and have no idea what you want your philosophy to be. Don't try and do both and change it up when nothing material about what's happening on the field even changes. Don't try and do both and flip-flop your mindset every 5 seconds. It's going to lead to confusion for the players, confusion for the fans, confusion for the announcers, and it's going to lead to poor results. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Check out our live streaming schedule for the next few days. We're live every single day on this channel, whether we're covering a sporting event or playing GeoGuessr or just taking your requests. So make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single time that we go live and so that you can join this community. Also, thanks to all our members and our Patreon supporters who get exclusive perks like their name at the end of each video, members-only Q&A streams, and cool emojis to use on videos and during streams. See how you can join this community and become a member or a Patreon member by clicking the link in the description below.